8 minutes to talk about what's really going on at Fukushima Daiichi 3,031 days later. Now the people finally have a clue about how terrifying things got at Chernobyl thanks to the recent HBO series. Understanding the crisis of TEPCO's Fukushima Daiichi site isn't really any easier because the circumstances there are so different. But since I don't see a Fukushima series in the pipeline yet, let's find other ways to get you up to speed. Hey FukuFighters, it's Dave, and this is the FukuFriday Happy Hour Hangout for June 28th, 2019. The mainstream media has been cautiously qualifying the Fukushima nuclear disaster as the second worst release of radiation from an accident in the world ever since the crisis began in 2011. The explosion and fire at Chernobyl in 1986 immediately impacted the nearby city of Pripyat in Ukraine, eventually contaminating large areas of land in Belarus, Russia, and Scandinavia in the process. The landmass affected in Japan by the radiation put out by the triple meltdown at Fukushima Daiichi was not nearly as severe, but in the 8 years since 3/11/11, literally thousands of tons of radioactive wastewater have sluiced into the Pacific Ocean, and the plant site itself is turning into a bog of wet garbage as the government waffles about how to dispose of the water in a way that the public and local fishermen can accept. But what they're really hoping for is a miracle where all the water suddenly vanishes, or better yet, for all of us to completely forget about TEPCO's problems altogether. You see, the melted fuel problem is really not the big problem. It's the water. Understand that the topography of the site itself is vastly different than that of Chernobyl's. Water inundates the area during typhoons and spring rains as the 4 damaged reactor buildings sit on top of an aquifer right next to the Pacific Ocean. At landlocked Chernobyl, they've stopped the danger of China syndrome and have built their second containment unit over the top of Reactor 4. At Fukushima, they've done none of that. To this day, they continue to pump fresh water into the buildings to maintain cold shutdown conditions, and their efforts to stem the flow of radioactive wastewater with a multi-million-dollar ice wall has only had partial effectiveness. In 1986, the Soviet Union moved heaven and earth to put out the fire, deal with the exposed graphite, and contain and control the situation in Chernobyl. The Japanese government hasn't done shit in comparison. By following the IAEA and the US NRC's lead, very little has actually been accomplished at Fukushima Daiichi over the past 8 years, other than that the entire site has been paved over to reduce radioactive dust exposure for the thousands of workers there daily, and some of the old bolted water tanks have been replaced with welded ones. Steel and ice walls that don't do much but cost taxpayers money, and platitudes are all you're going to get from TEPCO at this point. The way things are going, it's only a matter of time before the entire site just evolves into a radioactive pile of sludge that will continue to contaminate the area and the ocean for hundreds of years to come. That's what we'll get if we continue to keep TEPCO in charge of the situation there. Where's all the international help they asked for? What is Russia doing to help other than by opening an office there in Japan? What is the U.S. government doing other than handing out big money contracts to nuke companies while denying health coverage to sailors from Operation Tamagotchi who were exposed to the brunt of the radiation releases in 2011? Not a damn thing is the correct answer. If Chernobyl teaches us anything, it's that the only answer to solving a nuclear problem is bold decision-making and swift action. In Japan, neither of those two things is taking place. So, couple that problem with an industry that still thinks it has a stranglehold on the human race with its baseload power production and ability to buy politicians off. Ask Obama about that sometime. And Houston, we've got a problem. It's one that only we can fix, and that's through education and understanding. Now, in addition to all the links of everything I just talked about for the past 5 minutes in the description of this video below, what do we got to do, Fuku Fighters? We have to take that information and all the other good information about Fukushima Daiichi that we've collected over the past 8 years and share that with everybody, right? Because like I said, that Fukushima series. Who knows when that's going to happen, right? We got to get on this now. We can't wait 33 years from now. We got to do it now. So go over to our website at OperationSaveTheEarth.com. Share all the information there in our helpful links section. Sign up for our free weekly newsletter by sending me an email at info@OperationSaveTheEarth.com. We will put you on that mailing list so you can get that every week. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter. That's at OSTE 8 Minutes. That's where you're going to get all the latest Fukushima news of the week. Guaranteed. Now look, the human body is mostly made out of water, right? What happens when water is contaminated by radiation? Does it just magically go away? Well, yeah, sure. It just depends on what the half-life of the isotope is and what it breaks down into. By the time you figure out how long that is, whoop, oh well, you already have cancer. The impact that Fukushima radiation is having on the Pacific Ocean right now is measured in the dead whale carcasses lining the west coast as we speak, as starvation and rising temperatures in the ocean itself continue to strangle the home that we really all came from to death. So listen up, top of the food chain. Everything underneath you is collapsing, and if you're waiting for the rain to wash away all your problems, then you are not thinking about Fukushima in the right way at all. So until next time, if there is a next time, this is Dave saying peace and good fortune to everyone. Take care until then.